Hello, my name's Melissa and I work for Speech and Language. Today we're going to be looking at early visual supports and focusing on objects of reference, Makaton and core word fans. So this presentation should last between about 15 to 20 minutes and our contact details can be seen on the screen if you want to get in touch regarding any questions. So today we're going to be covering some visual supports and these will include objects of reference, Makaton and core words. Objects of reference. So what are objects of reference? Objects of reference are objects that can be used to represent an activity, event, place or person. These objects stand for something in the same way that words do. For example, a child may get excited when their coat is put on, as they know that this means that they're going outside. Why do we use objects of reference? So some children need extra help to learn to understand the spoken language. By using objects of reference at every opportunity, the child begins to link the word and the object and the activity all together. It can take time for the child to build up this link. When objects of reference are understood, they can help a child to anticipate so that they know what is about to happen, to sequence events and become familiar with their daily routine, by knowing what is happening now or what is happening next, and to understand when an activity is finished, to be able to make choices and requests so that they can show you what they want. How to start using objects of reference. Think about the important regular events in your child's day. These can include meal times, going out or bedtime, and choose an object that is related to this activity and that you will use with your child in this routine. For example, a spoon for dinner, a teddy for bedtime. At the start of each activity, give your child the object to hold and explore. They can look at it and touch it and smell it, or you could just show them if they don't want to hold it. Use a simple word or phrase such as dinner time, time to go out, bedtime. It is important to use the same word each time. For example, if you decide to say bedtime, use this consistently rather than saying different phrases. For example, time to go to sleep. It may be helpful to keep the objects together in a bag or a box so that family, nursery and school staff can all use the same objects with your child. Some things to keep in mind. Start with only a few key objects when introducing this technique, around 3 to 5, and once your child is showing a response to these objects, you can start to gradually introduce some more. Your child may run away when you show them their pull-up, then may go to the changing mat, or lay down, for example, in response to the object and the keyword. Try to choose some objects that are not too similar to each other. For example, using a towel for bath time and a blanket for bedtime might be quite confusing. Instead, it would be more appropriate to use a towel for bath and a teddy for bedtime. So have a little think about the events in your daily routine that you could use an object of reference with. What activity or event in your typical day does your child find tricky? Here are some ideas. For drink, you might use a cup or a bottle. For food or meal times, you could use a spoon or a bowl. If you're going out, you could use a coat or their shoes. Swimming time, you could use armbands, swimming hat or a float. When it's time to brush your teeth, you could show them their toothbrush. Time to brush their hair, you could show them their hairbrush. Or you may have some song sack objects for nursery rhymes or singing. Events such as bath time, you could use a toy duck, a flannel, sponge or a plug. For bedtime, you might want to use a cuddly toy, a book or a blanket. For nappy changing, you could use a pull-up, nappy or wet wipes. For different places, such as home, you could use your keys. For nursery, you might want to show them their rucksack. To go out in the garden, you could show them a football. A sensory room, you could show them a sensory ball or a light-up toy. And for the park, you might want to show them bread if you feed the ducks or their welly boots. Objects of reference for people. Grandma might have a bracelet. Granddad might have a hat. A watch could be used for dad or perfume for mum. A key worker or a teaching assistant might use a lanyard. Uncle or auntie might wear glasses. Developing the use of objects of reference. Initially, your child will need to make the connection between the object, the word, and the activity. They will need full adult support, showing them the object of reference and then helping them to that transition. Over time, your child will start to recognise the object and the key word used in the context. They may start to show some anticipation, becoming excited and move towards the activity, or they could do the opposite and run away from that activity. Once your child understands what the object of reference means, they may be able to use them to make requests, to show you what they want or need, to make a choice, or to show a preference. How to personalise objects to your child. The examples provided some suggestions for objects that you might like to use. However, many children might need something more specific or personal. It will be helpful to think about what is the most memorable part of the activity for them. Do they focus on small details? Are there smells, tastes, or sounds that they can associate to that certain activity? Your child might need an object that is an actual part of what they are going to be doing. For example, when going to the park, your child might be interested in the chains on the swings. So you could use a small section of the chain to represent the park. Alternatively, if you always feed the ducks at the park, your object of reference could be bread. Consider what is meaningful for your child. This might be something unique and unusual, and that is fine, but remember to keep it the same once you have chosen what you are going to use. Top tips. Make it fun. Be consistent and persistent. Be patient. Remember that this is a new way of communicating, and learning to communicate takes time. Most importantly, only have the items in the bag or the box that are available. Check what you have in the bag and box and remove the item or event if they're not available that day. Think about if it's raining. Can we go to the park? Do I have those crisps in the cupboard? Can we go see Grandma today? Here is a video on objects of reference. Makaton. What is Makaton? Makaton is a way of supporting communication by using sign, hand movements, symbols and pictures alongside our speech. Who is Makaton for? Makaton is used to support children, their families, friends, teachers and carers when a child finds it tricky to understand or express communication through speech. Here is a video on Makaton signs. Why do we use Makaton? Using Makaton can help a child to express themselves to others by telling the adult what they want or to make a choice. It can help to reduce frustration and increase confidence to communicate more. Used alongside speech, it can encourage and support the development of speech and language. How to use Makaton. Choose Makaton signs for situations that are familiar to your child. Choose things the child enjoys and are motivated by. Create opportunities to model the sign. When using Makaton, start with 1 or 2 signs. Always speak as you sign. If the child is willing, help the child learn the sign by guiding their hands with yours. Remember to be face to face and at the same level when signing so the child can see you sign and your face. Use lots of expression in your face. Practice and repeat the sign as often as you can. Offer lots of encouragement. And don't give up. It may take a while, but it's worth it in the end. Tips when using Makaton. Make it fun. Try to set aside 5 minutes each day and choose a fun activity you both enjoy. We call this 5 minutes magic. Be patient. This is a new way of communicating, and learning to communicate takes time. Golden rules for being a good communicating partner is to model. Show the child how to use Makaton. And wait. Pause and give the child a chance to communicate with you. Respond. Respond to all the child's attempts to communicate. Some simple Makaton signs to start with might be good, more, finished, end. Core words. Core words are useful words that can be used in lots of different settings or activities to say different things. Example of core words might be want, go, big, more. Interpret your child's non-speaking communication and model the core word. For example, if your child reaches for the bubble pop, you might want to model the word want or more. If your child puts a bubble wand to your mouth, model saying more or go. Use lots of repetition of core words, saying it again and again, and use them in different situations. Use the spoken word, the symbol, and the Makaton sign all together. It can help to try all means of communication, and then you can see if your child has a preference. Fringe words. These are words that can only be used for specific situations. For example, cake. Here is a video on core words. This is an example of our core word fan that shows you the symbol, the word, and the Makaton sign for our core words: more, stop, finished, go, and help. Different, open, like, want. Have a little think about which core words would be most useful to you or your child. What activity or event do you think you could use these with? Here's a list of our core words and activity ideas. More, like, don't like, help, stop, sad, happy, funny. Bubbles, car or trains, bricks, meal times, bath time, bedtime, or going out. This brings us to the end of our PowerPoint. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you do have any questions or you want to get in touch, please find our contact details at the start of this video.